Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this walkthrough and mostly first impressions of the Hilda Tarot, the new Gingham edition. Oh my goodness, I have been sitting on this deck for like a while before I finally got a chance to sit down and film this walkthrough, but I'm really excited. This was an impulse purchase for me, but Hilda's a character I recognized from my childhood. Not that I saw her advertisements in advertisements meant to be for people my age. She's definitely a bit before my time, but not significantly so, and I'm sure that there were family members that had magazines or newspapers or something where I saw her because she was instantly recognizable to me. And she's one of these very charming figures that I kind of identify with in this sort of fun way. She reminds me of a sort of I Love Lucy kind of character, but just in a different time period and maybe with a little bit more playfulness and joy and what's the word I'm looking for? Sort of carefree energy. Anyway, the Hilda Tarot is created by, I believe it's Celestial Esther on Instagram, but I will have a link in the description box where you can follow the creator and possibly get in on future pre-orders. This was a pre-order that I got in on, and as far as I know, it's not something that gets printed really regularly, but I was really excited about it, and I will say it felt a little bit pricey, but it's just really unique, and you'll see as I go through it. But it does come in this really cute little two-piece box. It's a linen cardstock. I actually really like this cardstock. It's incredibly flexible. It's easy to shuffle, and it's smooth, and yeah, it's just a joy. It will hold up really well. It's like a playing cardstock. It will feel kind of thin and flimsy. If you've never had a linen cardstock deck, like tarot deck, it will feel funny at first. But trust me, these linen cardstock decks typically do hold up very, very nicely, just like a playing card deck holds up, right? So they feel thinner than like a chunky matte cardstock, but they're just a breeze to shuffle and really easy to work with. It's really quite lovely. I will also say that this linen cardstock doesn't feel like it has a lot of reflect on the texture. And the way that you can tell if it's linen usually is that there's a texture. Let's see if I can catch the light on it. So hopefully you can kind of see that. But it's not distracting from the artwork on this deck, so it's just a really nice linen. But anyways, that's enough about cardstock quality. Can we talk about these gorgeous gingham backs on these cards though? The prior edition was, I believe, the burlap edition, and I have to admit I was not a fan of those backs, but these are adorable, and I'm so glad this is the edition I ended up pre-ordering. So anyways, let's zoom in and take a little tour through the cards. Because this deck is focused on Hilda and the original artwork that depicted Hilda, you will find that, of course, the only character in the cards really is Hilda, and anybody who happens to be any characters that happen to be around her, usually animal companions of some kind. But you can tell she has this just joy of living, and this is such a fantastic Fool card. She's leaping off a cliff, there's a dog leaping after her, and as well as some geese, a goose and goslings, a duck and ducklings. I'm really bad with animal identification, but there you go. Just diving headfirst with paying no heed to the consequences. Such a great Fool card. The choice of artwork. Now, this is all, as far as I know, existing artwork. I forget the artist's name, but I will also try to remember to mention that down below. The fact that Esther managed to do such an incredible job of like matching the positions of the figures and what was happening in the scenes to the archetypes of the tarot, it's just incredible to me. So here we have our magician, and the as above, so below in the hand position here is absolutely beautiful. And also we have this huge bouquet of flowers. She is clearly not dressed behind them and not too worried about it because she has all she needs in that beautiful bouquet of flowers. It's just fantastic. She's at a table. I mean, it couldn't be more fitting. In this High Priestess card, it says playing cards. Wait. Oh, gosh. Flowers can be fun. That's what it is. Flowers can be fun. I love that she's in a chair here seated and she's having a great time. She's clearly in on a joke that we aren't in on. And I think that's actually kind of interesting for the High Priestess, who's the one who sort of has the knowledge we don't and has her secrets in a way. Very cute depiction of the High Priestess. I found out about the Hilda Tarot from Bonnie Old Soul Mermaid, who did a walkthrough on her deck, and I was just absolutely enchanted when I saw it. I just had to mention that because I hadn't mentioned it yet. The Empress, all about daisies and all about Daisy's poems, and she's soaking in a bath, the Empress. How beautiful and perfect is that for that Venus energy? The Emperor, she's doing the work she needs to do to look after her property here, which is very Emperor vibes. Also, the colors here are very Emperor vibes as well. I love when her little bum peeks out her bikini bottoms, and they're like often made out of like flour sacks and things. I love it. The Hierophant, reading animal stories to animals. Like, that's so teachery. And look at, they're all listening with rapt attention. It's a really great matchup. The Lovers, won't you be my Valentine, with this giant box of chocolates. So sassy and cute. The Chariot. It's interesting here because clearly the pig is driving her and not the other way around. So it's kind of what happens when you're not in a chariot space, if anything. It's almost like we're seeing the chariot in its reversed like outlook in a way, which I actually kind of love, not gonna lie. I think it's really cute. The Strength card. I haven't really given this one a lot of deep thought. I don't know. Like, the cow is kind of looking over her shoulder and kind of getting in the way of her painting, but she's going to have to make peace with it to get anything done. I mean, maybe that's a stretch. I think that's a cute image, but I'd be curious to hear your take on it. If you're watching this, in what ways do you think this card represents strength? I'm curious if you'll get something different from it, because it's cute. It's not going to stop me from reading with the deck, but I'm not immediately getting those strength vibes. Thoughts? Opinions? I love this Hermit card. I mean, lantern in hand. I'm not sure if any of these if any of this artwork was slightly altered to add elements to it, but if it was, it's been done in a way that I can't notice, which is amazing. I love that she's holding the lantern and gazing up at the stars and is clearly at peace in this moment, just really in the moment, and I think that's perfect for the Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune, this is great. The string on her swing has broken and she's taken a tumble, right? I mean, the Wheel of Fortune is things we can't control. We don't necessarily see them coming. They just happen, and they sometimes they're good things that turn us on our head, and sometimes they're not so good things. Great image there. The Justice card, she's watering the ducks. How freaking great is that? Actions have consequences. I'm curious also about your thoughts on this one. Part of me is like, I wonder if it's like she's taking responsibility for these little ducklings to make sure that they get what they need, and is sort of, yeah, I'm curious about this one too. I wish there was a guidebook. There isn't a guidebook. I'd love to hear more about the intentions behind the cards, but it's such a charming little deck. Hanged Hilda, and she's got a yoga book here, and she's trying an inversion, which of course I love. Getting a different perspective for sure, trying something different. The Death card. This one cracks me up. So she spilled an ice cream down her little jammies there. What do you call these? Long johns? Onesie? I don't know. But her ice cream cone is totally spilled, and it's spilled all over her. So not only is the ice cream gone for good, but she's probably going to have to take this outfit off and put on something else, because it's done for until it gets washed. Pretty great death card, actually. This Temperance is adorable. Definitely, she's walking along the rail track here, and she's holding a can, probably berries, but she's straddling. Like, railways are another symbol for a space between, right? Like, there's this idea of liminal space, I think, in railway tracks, at least to me. Maybe I'm having a moment because I'm just charmed by this deck, but I really like that. The Devil and the Goat is literally eating her daisy chain bra, which of course will be not great because she won't have anything to cover herself, and she's trying to paint and relax, and that's happened. So yeah. Oh my gosh. The Tower, when she's put up the wallpaper but it's coming crashing down on her. I think what it is she's so expressive that I really feel like she like looks the way I would look in those moments. Like, just like, oh no, not again. The Star, this is great, very replenishing and healing. The Moon, and you get that idea of maybe she's heard an intruder and she's checking it out. The Sun, flying a kite. Love that. Judgment. Answering the call, right? Even though she was in the bath, she still answered the call. And the World. How lovely is that? I certainly am especially charmed by the fact that Hilda is this, like, adorable, curvaceous, like, obviously doesn't care as much about what people think of her. She's very much in her space. I love that. Anyway, here in the Ace of Wands, she's blowing on a little fire to get it going, so she has something to toast her hot dogs on. Great for the Ace of Wands. Oh, that's right. So these are going to be I remember now. These are going to be numerological. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull them out so we can look at them together. So we have the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. So let's just kind of get a little organized. Perfect. So she's stoking the fire here. She's playing on an inner tube in this card, which I think is great. And she's trying to thread a needle in the Ace of Swords, which certainly requires some sharpness and some concentration, which is fantastic. In the Ace of Pentacles, she's panning for gold. I mean, it's pretty perfect. And the Two of Wands, she's looking out. What's around her? Like, what can she see? The Two of Cups, there's also a looking out, but it almost looks like she's waiting for someone to return on a ship, or waiting or hopeful in some way. And I really like that energy for the Two of Cups for sure. You could also read this as she's just enjoying some quality time with her little dog friend, right? With her canine companion. And that can be a very Two of Cups energy all by itself. In the Two of Swords, definitely a little bit of a dilemma here. Which way does she go? Very appropriate, in my opinion. And in the Two of Pentacles, she looks like she's about to lose her balance here on this balance beam. Again, very classic Rider-Waite-Smith depictions of these cards, but coming from existing artwork, it's just brilliant. In the Three of Wands, leaping over a stump that's in her way. Love that, but she's very much got momentum. She's underway. She's going. Like, that's the whole energy of the Three of Wands. And in the Three of Cups, she's blowing up a balloon, but it looks like everybody's sort of a part of this process. She's got some companions near her. Interesting because it's often like a party card, right? And you get that feeling of that party energy. In the Three of Swords, there's onions and she's crying, and that is freaking great. It's just freaking great. I often see this as like learning lessons the hard way. And certainly peeling onions is an unpleasant experience, and maybe you learn a different way to do it next time. I don't know. And then in the Three of Pentacles, she is painting her gutters, and she has found a little nest of birds here, and she's looking at them like, well, I can either boot them out of here and actually paint my gutters, or I guess I can just leave this part unpainted and live in harmony with these little birds. And I just think it's great that she's considering the impact of her actions to somebody else or something else. In the Four of Wands, listening to music, having this very content, peaceful moment of being able to just enjoy life for a second, take a breather. The Four of Cups. I often see the Four of Cups as a card of satiety, of like comfort, of having what you need, and it's enough, and things are really emotionally stable, and that really depicts that for me. It can sometimes also depict that we're too stable, that we're in a bit of a rut, but here I think we really see the positive depiction of the Four of Cups. In the Four of Swords, having a rest, she's fallen asleep. Obviously, she had made herself some peanut butter and crackers, or some cheese and crackers with some tomatoes or something, and she literally fell asleep with crackers in the bed. Ooh, it's a sure way to get kicked out of bed, though. The Four of Pentacles, literally sweeping dirt under the rug because she doesn't want to deal with it. Like, hello? Four of Pentacles, that's fantastic. Five of Wands, the goose is trying to steal her picnic basket and is chasing her away, or maybe defending its territory. Pretty great. The Five of Cups, a little bit of sadness there, being out in the rain. The Five of Swords. Now this is interesting because at first glance you're like, what? How is this all about battle and defeat and such? But you get this feeling she's looking in the mirror as if she's been in her jammies here, her long johns or onesie, whatever you call that, looks like it's really small, and you get this idea that she's judging herself, like she's actually in a way bullying herself, seeing this like small little outfit and like the fact that it doesn't fit. And down below you have these like what look to be pattern books, like maybe she sewed it, but she sewed it too small, so she's being really hard on herself, maybe in numerous ways. Really interesting. And then in our Five of Pentacles, literally looking in, and there's a sign here that's partly cut off in the artwork saying keep out, and she's you can tell she wants to go in anyways, which I think is pretty great. She feels left out. She's like, what's going on in there? I want in. Very Five of Pentacles. The Six of Wands with her Hilda triumphant. I mean, that's perfect. She's just climbed a little mountain there. The Six of Cups, looking through a box of memories, is about the perfect depiction of the Six of Cups, if you ask me. The Six of Swords, getting away. I am out of here. That's going on vacation if I've ever seen it. And the Six of Pentacles, it's feeding time. She's giving back. She's feeding these chickens and birds that are under her care. The Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands, this is one where we're interesting. We're usually in a position of strength in some way, like we're on the higher ground, and here she's clearly much bigger than the fly that is on her back, but the fly is somehow still getting the better of her because it's landing on her back. It's a really interesting twist to the Seven of Wands for sure. The Seven of Cups. She's dowsing here, which is so cool. Trying to figure out what's next, what's coming up. The Seven of Swords. Making off with some wood, and then there's a bird. Oh no, the bear. I was like, she's making off some wood. No, the bear has stolen her campfire. So she was collecting wood, and in the meantime, a bear has made itself at home. And she's like, well, great. Now I can't go back. Like, it was my little camp spot was taken from me. And the Seven of Pentacles, a card where we're often considering, you know, we're wanting to be patient for how things are going to come out. And if you've ever tried to make one of these dang daisy chains, you have to be so patient, and things keep like, it's like your work will pay off, but you really have to stick with it, which is very much energy of Seven of Pentacles. Eight of Wands, flying the broomstick. Love that. Eight of Cups, not a care in the world, but she's obviously leaving. She's off on an adventure. She's walking on this fence here, balancing. Eight of Swords. Well, that barbed wire is not going to keep her out. She is escaping or getting in, depending on your perspective. And the Eight of Pentacles. She is practicing her, is that a tuba? I'm so bad with it. It's a tuba, right? Yeah. Then we have the Nine of Wands. A little battered, but she's hanging in there, trying to still have her nice afternoon, but obviously the wind is getting the better of her. This Nine of Cups is so great. Like, she is like so pleased. Like the cat that got the canary, right? With her big bowl of ice cream and the fan blowing on her. It's like the perfect summer day. And then the Nine of Swords. Reading ghost stories, getting herself all freaked out. Very appropriate. The Nine of Pentacles. Definitely enjoying, just relaxing and enjoying her space, right? Then we have 10 of Wands. Oh, she's coming out from a really nice, probably tubing adventure, but it's now pouring rain, and it's hard to walk when you're wet and you're cold and you've got your flippers on. It's just a lot, right? So you may have had a nice time, but now it's like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? Very 10 of Wands. 10 of Cups, looking at the sunset. Very happy here. 10 of Swords, this is brilliant to me. She's got a flower bikini on, and all of these bees are now coming to, well, like nest or grab some nectar or potentially sting her. So maybe not the best planning there. And the 10 of Pentacles, blowing bubbles, really having the leisure time because, well, she's put the work in. Next, we have the Quartz. We have the Page of Wands, the Page of Cups, who's underwater here. That's so great. The Page of Swords, figuring out how to befriend this skunk by just holding her nose. And the Page of Pentacles, befriending a frog. And in each one of these, she's with a creature. So here she's, playing with her dog. Here she's interacting with a fish. Here the skunk, and here the frog. I think that's fantastic. Then we have our Knights. We have the Knight of Wands. The bull has just bucked her off. Very Knight of Wands energy. The Knight of Cups, where she's got a little butterfly or dragonfly that's landed on her big toe, but she's just floating along. She's in good space. The Knight of Swords, a little reckless here. She tried to climb a mountain with a maybe not very well-tied bikini. The Knight of Pentacles, and she's lassoing. She's very like focused and definitely going to take care of that, which is great. Then we have the Queen of Wands. She's just peeling some potatoes maybe or some apples, and her dog has just grabbed the back end of her jammies and he's like pulling on it. That's really funny. Then we have the Queen of Cups, and she is very comfortable in her water element here. The Queen of Swords, playing a saw, right? Yeah, playing a saw. Very not afraid of the blade. And the Queen of Pentacles is like, oh yeah, I've got everything I need. And finally, the Kings. We have the King of Wands, gathering the wood. The King of Cups, comfortable with the water. King of Swords, carving into the tree, but also cut themselves. So it definitely has everything they need to take care of that by bandaging it up. And King of Pentacles. This deck is so freaking cute. I just can't. This one's like bird watching, right? So she's like cataloging this bird. but she's within her domain. She's within her land. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me give these a little shuffle. There's no guidebook to read, but oh my gosh, is that not the cutest? I love the sort of story being told through the deck in this case. And I think at first glance, it can look like just a little bit of fan art, but to be honest, there's so much. Like the artwork was so cleverly chosen, and I feel like it really does tell the story of the tarot. So I'm really, really pleased that I brought this in. I hope this walkthrough sheds some light on these gorgeous cards. And if you get a chance to pre-order this and this character is speaking to you, don't miss out because it's adorable. And check this out for just a moment because I have to. Look at the Peggy bag. It's not the exact same color of blue, and Peggy only had a small piece of this fabric, but it was this checkerboard, and I was like, can you just turn the fabric at 45 degrees so I get it to match? She very lovingly accommodated it. It is a one-off, unfortunately, but we'll keep our eyes out in case she sees any of this fabric again. But oh my gosh, I'm just so pleased with the match. It makes me so happy. So that, my friends, is the Hilda Tarot. Thank you so, so much for joining me for this walkthrough. Please don't forget to click the like button if you enjoyed the walkthrough or you found value in it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here and click the notification bell so you're notified of all my future videos and live streams. Thank you again so, so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.